good. I enjoy cooking this kind of food.
It's
good because it's comfort food. It's going to feed anywhere from 5 to 8 people or more, depending on how much they're going to eat. And an egg.
To hold it together?
The glue.
The glue.
The glue. Make sure that they're all submerged. Just be careful not to poke them too hard. Hi, this is Judy with Cooking for All Seasons, and I have my friend right here, Jeannie.
Hello.
And we're going to make, what are we going to make today? We're going to make some spaghetti.
Spaghetti and spaghetti sauce.
Spaghetti sauce. It's sort of like a different kind of sauce that most people are not really quite aware of. But Italians make like their Sunday, they call it their gravy. And a lot of times they'll put pork and a little piece of beef in it and, just different stuff. And they let it cook all day Sunday. And it's really good, and it gets that really good flavor. But this is a little bit different, kind of similar, not quite. First we're going to make, first I want to say thank you to Trader Joe's for being so gracious to me and my show all the time. Thank you. So this time we're going to make some baby back ribs in our sauce.
In the sauce.
Yeah, and some chicken meatballs. So it's a little bit different, a little combination. Most people don't think of putting ribs in, but it's really good. It's really good. If you don't have baby back ribs, then use regular ribs. But if you use regular ribs, you have to be careful because they have a lot more fat on it. So if you use regular ribs, it's okay. Just do as much trimming of the fat prior to browning them as you can.
Okay.
After the sauce cooks for a long time, the fat from the ribs will rise to the top. So you want to make sure that you skim it. But baby backs are not quite as fat.
Yeah, these don't look like they have any.
These are real lean. But I do want to show you that there's this sort of silver skin, or I'm not really cartilagey type of skin in the back. And I'm hoping, can you see me take this off? You always want to take this off. If you don't take it off, it will come off, I think, as you cook it. And it's chewy. Even when you're making ribs on the barbecue, you always want to make this.
You take that off.
Some people don't, and you can tell when they don't, it crunches.
Now, is it only the baby backs that have this? Or
even regular ribs.
Okay.
The regular ribs have it too.
Oh, okay.
It's just like this sheath. But this one's coming off real easy, look, see.
Or normal.
Huh?
It's coming off normally.
Yeah, because otherwise, sometimes it is much more
really
difficult
hard,
to get off. So you just want to, let's just toss that in the garbage. So now, I've already washed these, and you can notice, look at how lean they are. They're really lean. You don't want to, there's nothing to cut off here. But because we're going to brown them in the sauce, the only thing with this one is this cut, well, you just have to be careful. This one's got a cracked bone.
Like a piece of bone, it stays
and
with
you
it.
don't, you don't want that on there. So let's take that off just to, if I can. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think, no, it's attached. So we just have to be careful. But now we're going to go ahead and cut these into ribs because we're going to brown them.
No,
you really can't do this once the meat is cooked, because then it begins to fall off the bone and it doesn't look as nice. But you can see there's still fat in this.
So you're doing one rib.
Yeah, you're doing one rib because this is going to come out in the sauce, and so when somebody gets served, they're going to want to take a rib. Sometimes the meat does literally just fall off the bone, and the bone will just be in there, but that's okay. But it looks kind of neat, and it tastes really good. So we're going to brown them in a little bit of olive oil, and to the olive oil, then we'll add the onion and carrots. Okay, so you want to know why we put carrots in?
Why?
We put carrots in because we don't add sugar. Carrots add the natural sugar to the sauce. So I always use carrots. There's all kinds of things you can add into your spaghetti sauce. Everybody adds all kinds of things. Fennel is really good. Let's see, what else? So for some reason, I don't put celery in mine. Some people do. I don't know why. I don't know why there's this thing. But then we're going to make some chicken meatballs.
Oh.
And we're going to put those in too. So if you don't want pork, then just go ahead and just use the chicken meatballs. You know.
Oh, so the ribs are not floating around in the sauce.
Yeah.
Oh, they are.
Oh yeah, no, they'll be.
And the meatballs?
Yeah.
This is going to be one big pot of.
Yeah, it is. It's a pot of. Yeah, it's really good. Like on.
So who needs the spaghetti part?
Oh. Yeah, I mean it's almost like you could just eat the ribs. Just when you're doing this, you just want to make sure that you don't get any big pieces of cracked bone in there. Yeah. Usually you don't. Baby backs are pretty solid, but you can hear that's the cartilage that I'm cutting through right here. But they're easy to cut. They're not, as I'm sitting here wrangling with them, but they're easy. You just kind of follow the bone. Can you hear that? Mm-hmm. Just check it. Oh, see, there's a little piece. You just don't want it floating around in there if you can help it. But yeah, so the chicken meatballs. I mean, I kind of a combination. Most people maybe put beef. But I kind of wait till you taste these meatballs. They're good. Mm-hmm. I like them. So okay, so this is all cut up, and like I said, I washed it. I didn't wash it with soap. I just rinsed it with cold water.
Good to know.
Yeah, you don't want to be washing anything with soap before you eat it. Okay. I mean that's a lot of meat.
Do you want to bring the pan or?
No, we're going to start over here. Okay, I'll turn around. And we're going to get some olive oil in here. We're going to,
here.
Okay.
Maybe.
My hands are.
Oh. You loosened it for me.
I loosened it. So we're going to get some olive oil in here. There you go. Do this. And we'll wait till it doesn't take very long. This is a copper pot and it gets warm pretty fast. But, do you have a Dutch oven? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. I mean, I think that's the easiest thing to cook in. One thing about a Dutch oven, I'd say 90% of the Dutch ovens that I know of, you can put in the oven. That's what it's called, a Dutch oven. But, I mean, what's nice about this sauce is that you could actually finish it once you brown it and get all the meatballs and everything. You actually could put it in the oven and just let it continue to cook, which makes it a little bit easier. And if you've got company coming over and you need more space on your stove or something like that. So it does make it kind of nice. So let's see here. We got a sizzle. Ooh. We got a sizzle. And we're going to put some salt and pepper in these. I think you're going to like us. Yeah. I mean, if you're cooking for a crowd and you need to make this a lot more than like one rack of ribs, then you probably want to brown the ribs
in stages.
In stages, yeah. Like do one at a time, but you're also going to need a larger. Thank you. So we're just gonna. You have to season things in layers, and this is meat, and it needs to have enough salt on it. So, I mean, even though you think of the fact, oh my God, that's so much salt, that's a lot of meat. That's like this is maybe 2.5 pounds of pork, and it needs flavoring. So now I'm putting some pepper in here. And we're going to let this cook, and while this is cooking and getting brown, we're going to go ahead and start our meatballs.
What about the vegetables there? Not yet?
No, this is going to brown first. Yeah, you want to, if you let the meat brown a little bit and get some color on it, it actually adds the flavor. Mm-hmm. And you know, it'll stick. It's sticking, but that's because it's not browned yet. So, what do you think? I think we should go ahead and I think we can start making the meatballs.
Do you want to do them over here?
No, I think I'm going to rinse this off a little bit so we don't get... Oh, okay. I'm going to bring over my handy dandy little... I don't know if you have one of
Food
these.
chopper. I have a little bit larger one than that, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I've used it for years. Just absolutely used it for years. And, you know, if you've got a birthday coming up or something, ask for one of these. They make all different kinds now. This one's an older one. This one's an older one. So, what do I have? I have chopped chicken that I chop myself. This is chicken thighs. I don't like chicken breasts.
Too dry.
Too dry, you know, and there's not enough flavor in there. So what are we going to add? We're going to add, in here I have some Italian parsley and some basil, and then we're going to add an egg to this, and then how do they go?
They're sticking, so I'm going to...
Yeah, no, that's okay. They'll come up when they're brown. So what do I have in here? This is like a little French roll that, like, if you don't eat all of your French bread or something, you've got some pieces left. I don't care, even if it's garlic bread. Stick it in the freezer so that when you want to make some meatballs or something like that, you have this, you know, some leftover bread. And all this is I soaked it in some water. So I think, let me see, yeah. I have some more basil over here. So I'm just going to, I have quite a bit of chicken. There's about 1.5 pounds of chicken. And I'm just going to put you want to put some parsley in there to freshen it up. And I have some, like I told you, I have some cloves of garlic. And there we go. And I already chopped an onion for my sauce. So I'm going to steal a few of those onions. I don't want too much, but just a little bit. Okay. So let's see. Where's my, the top I put over here, of course. So, you see this? Makes life so much easier. I mean, it's just almost all done, you know? It's so nice. It's very easy. I use it for everything. So, you want to get me a spoon?
A stirring spoon or
just
wooden spoon?
a spoon out of here, maybe. I'm just going to go directly into the chicken. Okay. And an egg.
To hold it together?
The glue.
The glue.
The glue. You want to mix that one up? And then I'm just going to take this bread and sort of see if we can, I'm going to put it in here. You don't want all this moisture in there. So I'm just sort of squeezing it. And we're just going to chop it in here. Okay. This helps. That's what happens when you're rushing. And you know what? I'm going to add some cheese.
Oh.
So I'll be right back. I am thinking I'm going to add some cheese. Yes. All this Okay. All this is a mixture. It has a little Parmesan, Asiago, Fontina, and Provolone.
I've gotten that from Trader Joe's as well. I love
I know.
that stuff.
I mean, it's just the best.
Yeah.
It's the best combination. It also helps to glue the. Oh, I gotcha. It also helps to glue the meatballs together, and flavor, of course. Okay. Then we're just going to take this and mix this in. I mean, there's about 1.5 pounds of ground chicken thighs. Now, if you only eat turkey, that's fine. The problem with turkey is it could be a little drier. The same thing as if you use only chicken breasts. But you could use a combination. You could use a combination of chicken breasts and chicken thighs. Okay, I have to get like everything out because I hate it when people don't take everything. So let's move this.
I'll stir it in.
Yeah. Move this out of the way. Now the only thing we're going to do is add a little salt and pepper to this. Now you can't really taste it. You just have to kind of go on your, I'm going to show you a little trick though, of how I kind of figure out if it's got enough salt and pepper in it. Obviously the cheese is going to add a certain amount of salt, but that's a lot of chicken. So, you do have, and I'm using kosher salt, which is not as salty as table salt.
So you need more.
Yeah, usually, just a little bit more. And then let's do some pepper. You don't want a lot. I know it looks like a lot, but that's a lot.
It is a lot of meat.
That's a lot of meat. So, let's get some. I know, I'm here. I'm still here. I am searching. Oops. Okay, I found it. One of the ingredients that people have a tendency not to use in their sauce, I want to make sure that I didn't forget it, and that's the crushed chili. If you like your sauce really spicy, that's fine. I don't like it really spicy, but I do like a little bit.
A little undertone.
A little undertone of some spice. I didn't want to forget it. Okay.
And you do that in the sauce.
Yeah, when we do the sauce.
Okay,
But
okay.
I know I was skipping ahead, but in my mind, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't forget it. How are we doing over here? Ooh, these are looking beautiful. Would you like, can I show you these? Okay, let me get a hot, yeah.
Hang on. Coming.
Hang on, we're coming.
Here you go.
This is a normal kitchen. This is not all staged, I'm sure you can tell. But we're actually really cooking this. I mean, this is not something we pre-cooked or anything. We're actually doing this right now. And you can see, look at how nice. So you want to get it brown, and once it starts getting brown, it won't stick to the bottom of the
You're right.
pan.
Yeah.
It comes right up. So be patient. Be patient when you're browning, okay? I know it's kind of hard because you kind of want to, look, but you do have to be a little bit patient. And that patience will pay off because that's the flavor. That flavor of the browning is really important. So how we're going to cook the meatballs, we're going to cook the meatballs in a little bit, we're going to brown them in the olive oil, okay? And that'll bring out the flavor. Mm-hmm. And then once we brown them, we're going to just put them in with the sauce, and then we're just going to let it cook for a couple of hours because it tastes good like that.
Okay.
I think it should taste good.
So when we're crusting and we're browning the meatballs, then it's
this is
keeping the juices on the inside as well.
I'm going to put the tomatoes. So let's get the tomatoes ready.
Tomato.
And I have a couple cans over here. Okay, what kind of tomatoes? Everybody wants to know what kind of tomatoes.
Should I open them?
Yeah. I'm using some San Marzanos. I particularly care for San Marzanos. I think they have the best flavor. They don't need as much sugar. There's Muir Glen. There's a lot of organic type of tomato, and they're all good. But I personally like San Marzanos. You're going to pay a little bit more, but when you realize the flavor, you'll think it's really worth it. I think it's really worth it. I want you to see. Look at the color of these tomatoes. Can you see that? I mean, they're just like really, really red. They're beautiful. And these are peeled, and they have a little bit of the sauce with them. Sorry, they're really good. So if you can get them, and nowadays they're actually carrying them in more stores because people are really in tune. Well, you have to figure. So if this pot of pasta, this sauce costs you maybe $20 to make, it's going to feed anywhere from 5 to 8 people or more, depending on how much they're going to eat. But when you go out, when you're out, well, how much do you pay when you go out? Oh, I don't need that one.
Oh.
It's okay. Sorry, don't worry about it. These have a lot of, I was going to use some tomato paste, but I don't think I'm going to need it. But I do have some tomato paste in I thought I had some, what did I do with it? Oh, anyway, we'll find it. That's it. You got it. Yeah, this tomato paste, if you don't use a lot of tomato paste, every time you open up one of those little cans, you don't know what to do with it.
Right.
Get a tube.
Very good idea.
Because it just thickens it up. Okay, now, let's do this. Let's go ahead and add, we're going to add the onions. This is just going to put another layer of flavor in here. Most people put onions in their sauce. Mm-hmm. This is kind of a sweet onion. If you don't have a sweeter onion and you use a winter onion, which is a tighter onion and it's a little stronger, you might want to use a red onion, not quite as strong. And then we're going to grate some carrots in there. I think this tool was my grandmother's. Yeah.
I think my mom had one like that too. Actually.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I use it all the time. I use it for everything. I use it for grating eggs or something, hard-boiled eggs to make egg salad. They're sort of getting off the trail, but, And then we're going to have...
You had already said that the carrot adds the sugar to it.
Yeah, the carrot adds the sugar to it. I mean, if you don't want to grate it, you can slice it, but if you're going to slice it, just make sure you slice it pretty thin. You don't want great big... This is not... it's not stew, so you don't want to have great big hunks of carrot. Though, I don't know if they won't hurt. I mean... But you won't realize all the flavor from it, Mm-hmm. And we've got a lot of meat, and so I thought, well, sort of maybe like a carrot and a half, sort of. But, so then we're going to make the meatballs, and this will be a happy day.
Are you going to do the meatballs in a separate pan to brown them up then?
Yeah, we'll get some olive oil going, and then we're going to put the tomato sauce in here. I'm going to put some...
in there already. Okay.
Yeah, so this can start cooking because the meatballs actually don't take as long, but I mean, they'll be okay just sitting in there. Because you want this to cook, the pork has to cook at least an hour and a half, I would say. I don't think I would do anything less than that because the pork has to get tender. And so, boom, we have flying onions. Can you see? You can't see. Oh, well, I'll turn it. Hold on. So when you get all this nice, really, look at that one.
Yeah.
Look at that. See? That's what you want. That's the flavor. So, Now, the other thing I'm going to put in here now, and that's the reason why I went and got it out of the cupboard, because I didn't want to forget to put it in, and that's some pepper flakes. Be careful. Don't put too much. You can always add more, but you need a few.
Did you already put garlic in there too, or?
No, we're gonna.
Oh, you still need to?
You just want to be the. You kind of have to wait a little bit. See, it's beginning to calm down now. When it begins to calm down, can you hear it? Let me show it to you. Look. You can. I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear it? So you can hear that because now the onions are in there and they're kind of giving up some of their moisture. Now you could slice them. We're going to slice garlic in there.
Okay.
Some people crush their garlic. I do in certain things, but I like it sliced in sauce. Have you ever had it?
Mm-mm.
It just gives it just a different flavor.
Oh, look at that.
So if you don't have a garlic slicer, you should get yourself one. I mean, even though you could do it by hand,
They weren't be uniform and small enough.
Well, I don't think you could get them quite that thin.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really thin, so they're going to give up nice flavor, but not as strong as if you use crushed garlic. Okay.
There's another one over here.
I think that's it.
Okay.
These were big. So let's see. Can you smell it now?
Mm-hmm.
You could almost really right away begin to smell the garlic in there. Okay. Then the other thing I'm going to add to it is a little bit of thyme. Not a lot. You don't want a lot. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to add some oregano. Just a little bit. Squeeze it between your fingers to release the oil. If you're using dried, if you have some in the garden, by all means, use fresh. Just remember that any herb that's dried is going to be much stronger than the fresh, except for rosemary, which gives off a tremendous amount of flavor. So if you're going to put rosemary in it, and that's fine if you like rosemary in it, that's fine. Just be really careful about putting it in there because it will begin to overtake everything.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go over here to my cupboard, and you want to mix that around, and I'll get some oregano. Huh?
It's hot.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm injuring my
Didn't used to be.
So I'm just going to use some dried oregano. That, once again, be really careful because dried oregano is much more pungent than
I love oregano.
fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So you just want to be careful, about how much you put in. You don't want it to taste like just oregano. So. All right. And what we're doing now is, even though we don't have the tomatoes in there, when you put your dried herbs in there, if you let them take in some of the oils from the pan, it'll burst out the flavor a little bit better. So, how we doing?
Good.
Okay. So now, let's put in the tomatoes. Now, look. See? This is the tomato. And I am going to use my hands, okay? I just washed my hands. See what? I'll wash. Okay. But I'm going to squeeze them myself, okay? If you guys don't mind. I mean, I'm showing you. And they just crush really easily. And of course, every once in a while, you're going to get sprayed in the face with them. But,
just in case.
Just in case. Just be careful. Don't be in a rush. But you can look at the color. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can just tell the difference. It's that just really rich flavor. So And we're going to put 2 cans of these in. And if you get, you can get crushed, they're already crushed, or you can get chopped, or you can get pureed. Whatever way you like to put your tomatoes in. If your family doesn't actually like to taste the little pieces of the whole tomato, then get another format. San Marzanos come in all different formats, meaning, crushed and whole, or whatever you like. But these are beautiful.
Sure, they can.
Thanks. So, all right. Well, as soon as we get this in here, we're going to start making those meatballs. So, I'll be right back after I get my hands washed. Okay. Okay, we're back. Hi. Okay, so now we've got the sauce going. We've got the tomatoes in with the ribs, and everything's going along. You have to taste it, adjust it for some salt. You just have to do that. I mean, there's just, because those tomatoes don't have any, there's no salt in them. And that's a lot of tomatoes that are packed into those cans. So taste as you go along, put some salt in it. Like I said, it just, if you don't put the salt in it, it's not going to taste good. So you have to do that. Even though you have the herbs and all the other flavors, you won't taste those unless it's got enough salt. So now we're going to make the meatballs, but I'm going to show you something. Because it's very difficult once the egg is in and it's raw chicken, and you shouldn't be eating raw chicken. So let me show you something. What we're going to do is, okay, I have a pan and it's like really hot. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little tiny piece like this. And this is the stuff, and watch. We're going to test it. And that's how you're going to be able to tell, to a certain degree, how much, if it needs some more salt, because you can't eat it raw.
Oh, okay, I see.
So this is a way of, instead of making a whole big meatball, we're just sort of taking some of the chicken out. And let me turn that down. See? Makes like a little chicken patty. little tiny chicken patty. But you do have to cook it. This is hot oil, so it's like you're frying it. So but you just want to make sure it's cooked, because you don't want to be eating raw chicken. You can almost tell when it's done, when it stops popping, because most of the moisture then is kind of dissipated from it. And it starts getting more solid feel to it. I'm going to grab a little plate, and then we can, I don't want to, if I'm cooking it by myself, but I want her to taste it to see what she thinks. Everybody's salt taste is a little bit different. So, let's see here. Yeah, you have to blow on it.
I would think.
Yeah, it's hot, very hot. It might be just right. It may just need a little tiny bit, but I think it's just about right.
It's very flavorful.
Yeah, it has a lot of flavor. Maybe a little bit more salt. A little.
I would think.
Not too much more. And then we're just going to go. So that's my trick on how
Good idea.
How to figure out, especially when you have anything raw in something. And in this case, we have not only raw chicken, but we've got raw eggs. So I'm just going to steal a little bit more. Okay, now, if you don't have, I mean, this is a little bit more sticky than making beef.
It is sticky.
It's a little bit more sticky. So if you can, get yourself it's like an ice cream scooper. And it makes it a little bit easier. You just kind of scoop out, kind of just roll it in your hand a little bit, and then you're just going to put it in here. Pretty cool, huh?
And that makes a really good size and
And it makes
uniformed.
it, yeah, and then they're uniform, and not only are they uniform, then they all kind of cook the same. Okay, next thing is if you want to, you could cook these in the oven. You know, you could bake them in the oven.
But then they wouldn't be as brown, would they?
No, they don't. They aren't going to get as brown. So, but if somebody didn't, but this is olive oil, and there really isn't very much fat in these at all because it's all ground chicken, and there's not that much fat on the dark meat. Well, it's not that much because it's skinless. So when you take the skin off, you remove a lot of the fat. It's popping because remember we had the cheese in there and everything.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. And you had the egg. So, anyway, that's how you do it. I think they'll taste, and like I said before, if you don't want to put the ribs in, then just make the chicken meatballs. In your sauce.
They were so tasty you could eat them by themselves.
Oh yeah, you know what you could do with these? Make a really good hot sandwich. For a football game or something like that.
Yeah, that's very tasty for that.
But so we're gonna go ahead and brown these, and then we'll be right back. Okay, see you in a moment. Okay. So we're almost done here. How are we doing? Oh, that looks good. Now you can kind of move them around. See, now they're kind of bouncy.
Fall apart. Yeah.
And now we can put them in with the sauce. Okay, now they look good, huh?
Yes, they do. I can see where that would add a lot of flavor.
Yeah. So let's see here. See how nice they stay together? And don't get rough because you start stabbing in there, they're going to fall. They'll fall apart. Remember, they aren't.
Break, yeah.
Yeah, they aren't completely cooked all the way through. So, you don't want to do that. Whoa, they're bouncing all over the place. So this is as I told you, look this is a lot of food.
Yeah, it's very hearty.
Yeah. And it's not too fattening. Really, there's no butter in it. It only has olive oil. Well, and a little bit of fat from these ribs. But if when it's all cooked, you'll notice that there's not a lot of fat. There is from the olive oil. You can't help that, but that you want in there. So then, you just kind of want to make sure that they're all submerged. Just be careful not to poke them too hard. Okay? And that's it. And then we're just going to...
Do you cover them or?
No.
Because you don't want them to get mushy all over again, right?
Well, if you cover it, then
Too much water in there?
Yeah, it will steam it. And we don't want to steam it. So we just want to put it on really low. So, okay. If you're cooking beef, you could put this in, but I'm not going to. But you notice that on this, there's that's how much oil I put in. I didn't put a lot.
Pretty much, that's true.
But that's about how much oil. So you don't really... there's not a lot of fat in there.
Right.
And beef ones, now when I make meatballs and I make beef ones, I usually use beef and veal and a little bit of pork. And in that case, you get a lot more fat, but you also get some of the juices and some of the little pieces. It's a little bit different. So sometimes I'll just skim off some of the fat and put little crumblies in
Oh,
there.
okay.
But
Yeah.
this chicken one, you don't get as much.
Right.
So, okay. So, all right, we're going to now move on to our Brussels sprouts. So, I'm going to get the bacon out and stuff because we're going to render the bacon down first. And then I'm going to show you the Brussels sprouts.
Okay.
Because a lot of people are not quite sure how Brussels sprouts get sprouted. So I'll bring that to you in a few minutes. Hi. Okay. Now we've got the pasta boiling. We've got the sauces cooking. The only thing I did was I just cut up the bacon and rendered it down. We've got a couple of tablespoons of bacon fat sitting in there.
Okay.
And now we're going to make some Brussels sprouts. This is not decoration. This is edible.
I've never seen it before, this big stalk
Yeah,
that they whacked
see,
off.
look.
And yeah,
So these are...
that's how it grows.
This is how it grows. Yeah, it's beautiful. Isn't it beautiful?
I can see
Yeah.
why it would be more a decoration.
Yeah,
that they
people.
might-
Yeah, people are not quite sure what to do with it, you know. And so I like them like this because they stay, but you have to use them. You can't keep them forever like this.
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is we're just going to pop them off, and they do seem to grow more as you pop them off for some reason, but they're pretty easy. We're just going to sort of twist them off. See? Cute, huh?
Yeah.
You just have to, sometimes the ones near the bottom. So I'm just taking these up at the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to give them a little bit of a rinse, just to make sure there's no sand or anything. They grow in a cool climate, and it's the October months that they're most prevalent, that's when they start coming out. A lot of people eat them with cheese sauce. There are other ways of eating them without cheese on them. But so what we're going to do is we're just going to give them a little bit of a trim.
Okay.
To get rid of this part is a little tough.
Okay.
And then we're going to slice them in half, and we're going to toss them in the bacon, a little bit of the bacon fat.
Do you cut them this
You're
way
gonna
or
cut 'em
this way?
this way. You're
Okay.
gonna cut them down. Now there's another big thing where you can get them where they're shaved,
Okay.
and they cook really fast when they're shaved. They don't cook quite as fast when they're whole like this. So
Because they're very tight,
yeah,
so-
well, they're like this little cabbagey thing going on, you know. So okay, so we're gonna get a few of these done, and we'll be right back. All right. So what we've done is we've cleaned the Brussels sprouts. When you're cleaning them and they're coming off of the stalk, you got to be a little bit careful. Well, you have to be careful even if you buy them in the store and they're already off.
in the bag or whatever.
You want to trim off the little bottom part, and then you're going to cut them in half. Like I said before, like you can buy them already shredded, and that's really cool.
I've never even seen them shredded before.
I think they have them at Trader Joe's.
And,
And some of the other big markets, they might have them.
and they're all in a plastic bag.
They're like in a plastic bag. Yeah.
Okay.
So now we're going to take. I've rendered some of the bacon about 4 or 5 slices, and left about a couple tablespoons of the fat. Then we're going to take these now, and we're going to put them in there. So let's see here. Can you see what I'm doing? So this goes in here.
Let me stand over here. You can see.
Can you see?
Mm-hmm.
Let's turn this now.
So you're browning those too.
Well, yeah, and then we're going to stick them in the oven for a few minutes. I have a 400-degree oven. Make sure when you cook these in the pan that you're cooking them in some sort of vehicle that can take up to 400 degrees in the oven, because you just want to stick it right in the. You don't want to have to keep, changing pans. If you have to, you could stick it in another pan. But in other words, try to put it in, try to cook it in something that will withstand a 400-degree oven. Yeah. And if you took out, when I take out the bacon grease, I don't like throw it away. I put it in something just in case I didn't leave enough. I'd rather have it there than it. Okay, so if you didn't, you could throw some butter in there. I mean, it's not like you couldn't change it. So let's put some salt and pepper on these. And you can see over here, look at our pasta sauce. And we cooked some pasta. Well, that pasta's cooking over there. That's just some fresh ground pepper. Let's turn this out. So you can tell they're coated with the oil because now look at the color of them. They're shiny. They get that kind of glisten to them from the oil. So you don't want a lot of oil. And you don't want to saturate this. You know, it shouldn't be floating in the bacon grease. You don't want them like that. You know, if you don't want to cook them in bacon, you know, you could do the same thing with just some butter or, I don't know. There's just all kinds of ways to cook them. You probably could use like a turkey bacon. If you use a turkey bacon, it doesn't have as much fat, so you probably have to add something, you know, like some
Would it be
butter.
a broth or you can't?
Yeah, you can, but you want to get them. The idea here in this recipe, there's all kinds of different recipes. Sometimes you can steam them, you know, and then put a cheese sauce on them. There's all different ways of cooking Brussels sprouts, and they're really good for you. Like 3.5 ounces, I think it's like only 45 calories, and it has like a lot of protein in it. So they're really good if you're on a diet.
I've had them with some bacon and balsamic.
Ooh,
And
that sounds good.
That was really tasty. I don't know what else was in there, but those, I could tell that's what was in there.
Well, that sounds really good. So maybe we could try it. Maybe we'll try that. Maybe we'll, when they're done and everything, I wonder when they probably put maybe some balsamic and dressed them afterwards. I think. All right. Okay, now I'm going to put these in the oven. I'm going to just take a little tiny bit. You want the oils right there. I mean, you want to put enough oil and you don't want them to burn. And so if they're just sitting there and they don't have enough oil, they're gonna get burned, and I don't want them to burn. So if you need to, you might have to add a little bit more. It depends on how many you're cooking in the pan, because they absorb the oil. You don't want to put too much in here. Okay, so this is going to go in the oven and for about 10 minutes. We're going to check it in about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're going to flip them over so that they get browned on all the sides. And then we're going to put the bacon in there, and then I think we should, how's that pasta?
Oh.
Hopefully that's doing okay. So, do you taste?
Good.
I mean, everybody eats their pasta differently. Some people eat it really al dente, which is mean to the tooth. It's real hard.
It's pretty firm, but it's okay. I mean, it's better than last time.
Okay, well, we'll just
Maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Because it's off, so.
So we'll check right back with you in about 2 minutes, and we'll have everything ready and plated, and
Taste
You can
it.
taste it. And I have a special guest. Hi. Well, we finished everything.
It's beautiful.
So here's your Brussels sprouts, and all we did was put them in the oven to finish them off for about 7-8 minutes, and then we just added back in the bacon that we had pre-cooked. And here's our pasta, just some little bread just to sort of dip. We've got some pasta, and here's our meatball, and can you
The
see
rib?
it? There's our rib. So we're going to taste it. Thank you for helping me.
Okay.
I think that everybody would enjoy this. I think it tastes really good. I like it.
It looks very attractive.
Yeah, good. I enjoy cooking this kind of food.
Very
It's
comfort.
good because it's comfort food, and once you do it, if you like do it in the morning or something like that, it's like really easy. You just put it on the stove and let it go. You don't have to worry. It's still bubbling over there.
Yeah, I hear it.
So today I have a special guest, my mom. Come on, over here.
Come around here.
Thank you.
This is my mom, Lorraine, and she's a young 91.
Yeah. Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
that looks wonderful. My
Oh,
goodness.
good. So everybody gets a fork. Everybody gets a fork, and we're going to give it a try. So go ahead. We'll pull it over here.
Okay.
And here's the meatball, and this is the, you can tell.
I'll start with something small.
Well, you just have to kind of, see, look at the meat. It's so tender now.
It is.
It just comes right off.
That's wonderful.
So, do you still? Okay.
I think that's,
Let's try the chicken meatball.
yeah, that's what I wanted to see what it is. I'm gonna
Yeah.
Do that. It's kind of good.
Just be careful. It's really hot.
I know that's okay.
Maybe even cut that in half. Yeah, there you go.
Pull off a piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. And I'm going to try that Brussels sprout.
Oh, here we go.
It's delicious.
Does that taste okay?
It's wonderful.
Taste good? Good. Taste the meatball.
No, wait, I'll get out of the way a little bit here.
No, go ahead. You're
No,
fine.
Mom, you're
Oh,
fine.
no, I'm wrapped up here.
Oh, we're always like that.
Okay.
I'm gonna try Brussels sprout.
I'll try a sprout.
I hope those.
Got it. There we go.
Yeah.
Super. It's super with this.
Yeah. Oh, be careful, don't burn.
The combination is fantastic, really.
Yeah. See, look at the meat now. See, this is the meat off the
The
rib.
rib.
Yeah.
It just
Oh.
falls off.
The chicken meatball's really tasty.
Oh, good.
Very tender.
Well, as you can see, we're enjoying this. So I want you to enjoy it too. So I hope that you'll watch the shows and
Wonderful.
enjoy the food. And thank you, Mom, for being here.
It was my great pleasure
And
watching
thank
you cook.
And thank you, Jeannie, of
Oh,
course.
you're
you know that.
welcome, always.
And thank you, guys. I hope you enjoy watching this. This is Cooking for All Seasons, and this is Judy Keys saying, we'll see you next time.
It's good.
It's good.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It looks beautiful too. Tastes great. Looks beautiful.
So what do you think, the Brussels sprouts?
They're good.
It's good, huh?
See, there's no bitterness. It's very tasty, mild.
Yeah.
It's
And I think it tastes good with that.
Yeah,
With this.
because this is so rich.
Yeah,
this almost tones it
cuts
down.
it down. That's why I thought this was
I wanted
a
to
good
taste some of the rib.
Okay. Yeah, see the meat is really tender.
Without a knife and stuff, it's
Yeah, but it cuts pretty good.
yes, it does.
It's delicious. It's a great combination. The chicken
Good,
and
huh?
the beef is really
Yeah.
good.
I like the meatball better.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. It's just such a great meatball. It
Oh,
really
good.
does
I'm glad
taste
you
good.
like it. We have great meatballs.
I don't think I'll ever do a hamburger one again because that's much
Well, I
better.
think the real difference comes is if you grind the chicken yourself. I know it sounds like a lot of extra work, but I think that makes the difference. I mean, if you can't, either that or, I mean, some of the butchers nowadays grind it.
Oh, well,
you know, some of the stores, the you know, the little higher end markets they grind it. But some of the packaged stuff, I don't know. You have to try
It's
it.
good.
It's
Very good.
wonderful.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you inviting me.
Get your fingers in the way, huh?
Okay, ready is 5, 4, hello, 3.
Oh, hi. I wasn't sorry. Do it again. You know, it was that lack of sleep, I think, is beginning to kind of.
Oh, hello. I didn't know you came.
You're here.
It's about
Company's
time.
here. Okay,
Okay,
let's be a little bit more dignified
there you
here.
go. You want another countdown?
Yeah, no, hi. Hi. I'll be right back after I get my hands washed, okay? It's like crushing grapes. Don't put the tomatoes.
And your hands, not your feet.
And my hand, not my feet.